How many miscarriages happen? How many children don't make it to 5, to 15, to 20, to 40, to 70, to 100? Will she stay? No. Will you? No. You don't want to. There's too big of a universe to explore. There's too much of an expanse to experience. Why would you want to choose one life, one body to do it all in? You might want to come back as a dolphin and swim deep oceans. You want me to come back as an eagle and fly high. You want to, say, an extended non-physical being and soar around the universe with all your buddies and all your family and friends who are already on the other side waiting for you to come dance with them. The question we would pose to you is the attachment to your mother staying. Will it cause you suffering if she goes, even if she goes into a place of bliss? If she transcends the physical body and all of its tiredness and all of its wear and tear that the one life eventually does with the physical body, if she transcends this physical body because it's basically kind of worn out, she's had a good life but worn out, would you be attached to her staying longer if she could fulfill herself in a state of bliss? In a state of expanse? In a state where she could be in a unified thing where you don't have to call her on the phone or be in the same room, she's present with you at all times because she has freed herself in the body so she can do that. And you may not be able to see her physical body, but you can feel her presence in a way you may not have felt even with the physical body. And death is an area that most people attach to the most. I don't want my loved ones to go. But we say, go where? What you don't want is you don't want to physically not see them anymore. And that's a different story. And we are attached to these physical bodies. We just are. And you can even see the people on their deathbed. They've got tubes out of every orifice. And they're suffering their pain. But they don't want to leave the body. Why? When they go into an expansive place. Why? When they get the freedom. So they don't have to suffer in the body. They can come back and get a fresh new body. It's like this. When a child is left in a room, and they don't, and the mom goes to get its, a fresh pamper or something. The little child, not being able to see in that little room from her little bed, that my mommy's not there. Is the mommy not there? No, she's in the other room. Did it seem like a lifetime? You're screaming, Mommy, 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 Mommy. She's just in the other room. So 2 seconds later, the mom hears a cry. She comes back. Oh, here's a fresh pamper for you. Let's get you and all of a sudden gurgles and she, I'm so happy again. She didn't leave. Did you know that those 2 seconds of time that the mother is in the other room from the child, in eternity, it is that 2 seconds would be, we don't even have a word for it, less than a nanosecond. So you're not being able to see your mom for a nanosecond in eternity is not something to fret over. It's something to celebrate that now I can feel her presence in the meantime. I will connect with her either in the non-physical or in another lifetime with, now I'm the mother and she's the child, or we're sisters, or we're brothers, or we're lovers, or we're dolphins, or we're whatever. But she gets to be freed into a great expanse. And we would like to have the confusion around death be when you're sleeping, and say you're sleeping next to your mother, or your lover, or your child. When you're in your sleep state, and you're in your dream state or nightmare state or whatever state that you've gone into when your eyes close and you're no longer connected to this world. Now your warm-bodied lover, brother, mother, sister is right next to you. Do you know that they're there? Are you aware that they're there? So they can be there without you being aware of it. And then you wake and it's like, oh, There's my lover again. There's that being that I love and adore again. It's almost like we've taken this long, sleepy state of unconsciousness, and it's as if we think that this, well, what the Hindu call is Maya, or this illusion or delusion, is real. It's a tiny nanosecond of a lifetime. Does 100 years seem like a long time? When you're in time, it does. You can count the days. We all have calendars. You can count the minutes. You can count the seconds. You can count the, centuries, whatever you want to count. But take 5,000 years. Place that in 6 billion years. Place that in eternity. How long is that? How long is 5 billion years when you have eternity? It's nothing. So celebrate the fact that you have an eternity to enjoy your mother in all the ways that she's going to show up. And in the tired body, we're not saying it's not sad. We're not saying you don't grieve. We're not saying, oh, she's dead. Oh, let's go rejoice. She's now in the great expanse. We're not saying this. We're saying also keep in your mind that there is no separation. Also keep in your mind that if there's a separation in body to body, it's temporary. And if my mind expands out from this minute to eternity, it's really not that long. And if my mind and my heart connect out to spirit of all that is, she's actually present with me. She's actually closer than she could have been in the physical form. And so I hope that we answered your question. Is there any other question that you had with this?
No, that's awesome.
Was this helpful to you?
Yes, it was. Thank you.
Thank you. There are other questions.
Would you be able to look into the past lives of me and my partner?
And your partner's name is? Well, as you know, from the moment you met each other, you were true friends. Your friendship has endured many lifetimes. There's countless ones that we would have to explore with you. But we will just choose one out of the box and choose this one here. That when you were two sisters in Delphi, you loved each other almost like you loved no other. And you were sister to sister. It was not the man, the female lover, and it wasn't even the lesbian lover. It was just two females that just adored each other tremendously. And you aligned your lives doing the same things. And you made a vow, because then you remembered that you had lifetimes and lifetimes and lifetimes and lifetimes to explore and meet with each other. So almost as like a little girl, you said, okay, well, when we get separated here, we'll find each other again and again and again, okay? It's like, okay. It's like, well, how will I remember you? Because you're going to look different. Well, when you look in my eyes, and you looked deep into each other's eyes, and you saw that love that you experienced, you'll say, you'll remember then. So it was actually from that playful journey and that commitment to find someone that you love so much, someone that you knew you could journey with and trust. Because you knew not everybody was trustworthy. And you knew that if there was ever a time you were going to be on the planet at the same time, you were going to find each other. There's been plenty of times you weren't on the planet at the same time. You found each other anyway. Because you knew how to connect outside of the physical form. Was that helpful?
Yeah.
Does that resonate with you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think Delphi resonated well.
Again? Again?
I think Delphi resonated well.
Okay, Delphi, everybody does. Well, to tell you the truth, shall we tell you the truth?
It's what you're-
Are you interested? Have we engaged you in finding the interest of what is true versus what is delusion, what is concepts, belief? I mean, are you guys not really tired of all those beliefs and concepts and criticism and judgment? I mean, isn't it just like, And that's why they're shedding so quickly, because we've really just grown tired of them. We're exhausted by them. Because they're exhausting. I mean, how exhausting is a fear-based belief? Ugh. So, the truth is, and when it comes to Delphi, is that there were many, many, many light beings at Delphi at that time. So, at different times in the different history of Earth, there's what we call different power spots. You all are sitting in one of them now. We're saying this in actuality because in Malibu there is a tremendous power spot that is in a very expanded awakening place, and that is why many of you have been drawn here. And that's why many of you thrive here. That's why many of you visit here. So back then, during the Delphian and during the Delphian Oracle time, there was a power spot there. And many great souls gathered and connected there. Why? Because why not? Why not go to, like, it's like if I'm a soul, bzzz, I'm going to want to choose the power spot, right? You want to place the place where you can awaken the most, you can have the most joy. Plus they were having great decadent fun. And why not enjoy, the graves, and I mean, all the things that the Christian Judaists say not to do, they were doing and enjoying. Because they weren't told they weren't supposed to. They weren't given the concept they were not supposed to. So they're enjoying their sensual pleasures, their sexual pleasures, their eating pleasures, just like, let's just look at the stars all night, live pleasures, let's just live life pleasures, let's just be. Oh, great, we can just be and enjoy it. Well, they got it. Remember that purpose, just enjoy life? Well, they got it. So, a lot of you beings, and in fact, I'm going to do a sensory check. Not a one of you in this room was not there. And it proceeded over a period of time. So you may not have all been at the same time. Several of you were. In fact, there's a big group, there's a glom of you women over here that all were. And you know you were. And you love being in the waters, like, the waters, because the waters have this feminine feeling, and you like having something, like having silk robes all over your body. It's like, that's what it was like being in the waters, because they had sacred waters, came from the sacred springs, you could just enjoy and dance, and then bathe, and then eat, and then sleep, and then have sex with your lovers, and lovers, yes, lovers. We had more than one lover. We weren't so, attached to just the one, and it was just really a great time. So, the thing about Delphi, like the thing about Egypt, where the pyramids were, the thing about where the Celtic, ruins now are, and the other Mayan ruins are, is that they had their heyday. They had their moment of glory, they had their moment of bliss. And then what does mankind typically do when they're having a really good time? They go, well, okay, it's such a good time, let's make a plan. Okay, we're going to do it this way all the time. Now I'm going to build a structure and say, okay, it can only be under this structure. Okay, we're going to put, we're going to do it, and we're going to do it this way. Is everybody in agreement? Okay, who's not in agreement? Off with their heads. And so they try to solidify it. And what happens when you try to solidify something?
Screws it all up.
Breaks down.
It also doesn't allow it to be fluid. What's spirit? Fluid. What's water? Fluid. It's movement. It shifts, it changes, it plays, it's smooth, it's transcendent. Water is now rain in mist, frozen, changing.